have the opportunity to make this travel with my friends. It was one of the best experiences and trips in all my life. Well, let's start. London is one of the most beautiful cities that I have never been. There is a lot of difference between England and Mexico. The people of London is very educated in all the sense. It's very difficult to find a trash cans in the streets, and even like that, the cities are impeccably clean. Instead, in Mexico, you can see a lot of trash cans in all the streets, but even like that, the streets are very dirty. But why there is a lot of difference between their societies? In Mexico, everything is easier than in London because if you're hungry, you can take an orange from a tree, and in London, the fruit is really expensive. But why, if England always has been a better country than us? That's where the total difference between our society is, because in London, all the people work, all the people has the mentality of being the owner of their company or to have their own business. And in Mexico, sadly, most of the people has the mentality of work for someone else, to get only the money or less of the money that they need to survive. Yes, survive, because you cannot live well with 73 pesos per day. Well, if it's just you by yourself, yes, but if you have a family, obviously no. That's where the really big difference between a conquered country Mexico and a conqueror country England is. Mexico and England are two big different worlds, but each one has their good and bad sides. Prime Minister of England is like the President of Mexico. Their main functions are representing the UK at the range of international meetings and summits, preparation of the War Book, appearing twice a year to give evidence before the House of Commons Legislation Committee, and finally, appointments to Committee of Inquiry and Royal Commission. And the main functions of the President of Mexico is to promulgate and to execute the laws that the Congress of the Union sends, providing in the sphere administrative to its exact observance, to summon the Congress to extraordinary sessions when the Permanent Commission decides, to make easier to the judicial power the aid of needs for the expeditious exercise of their functions. But what is the difference between them? Well, there's not a difference between them. The only difference it can be the name. Because their charters are the same, the both of them are chosen democratically, and the power that they have is the same, only that is distributed in different ways because the type of government of each one. The British society is not 100% sure about the royal family. They don't like it a lot because they think that the Queen, the only church that she has, is public relations. But the one that really is in charge of the country to work is the Prime Minister, of course with help of the parliaments. That's why the only three-quarters part of the British society want to continue with a monarchy. But of course, everyone has a different way of thinking. In the year 2013, the Minister of Finances, George Osborne, said that the richest British people are the ones that are going to pay less taxes. So the people get really angry, and 2 years later, the taxes of the people have to pay change. All the taxes are going to be the same for all the British people. A part of the taxes that the people pays goes to the society, to fix the city, to pay the water, light, electricity, etc. But the other part goes to the Queen, of course, besides of the budget that the Queen receives every year. That's another reason because the society doesn't want a monarchy, because the budget is ridiculously expensive. But in Mexico, there's not a big difference. All the politicians say that they really pay taxes, but no, all the taxes are paid by the population. They say that our taxes goes to fix the city, to pay the light, electricity, etc. The same as England, but with which money the president can buy an airplane that even Obama doesn't has it? Or how the first lady can buy a house that costs a lot of money? Our currency is very devalued thanks to the bad decisions that the government has taken. Because for us, with 27 pesos we can buy 1 pound, and they, with 1 pound, they can buy 25 pesos. So what your monarchy?
So I just think that it's like just a person there. I don't really think they are useful in England because the Queen is like she's just taking money from the people living in the UK.
Hey, hi! What do you think about the government, about the monarchy?
They don't really do a lot, do they? Here's my answer to that. It's a nice thought, but I don't really know what they do. Like, they don't make decisions or anything. They just kind of stand there and wave a little bit, and everyone goes crazy for them. So it's good to have it for like history, but they don't do anything.
Well, there is a really huge difference between the type of governments of each country. Well, it's not huge, but it's different. In England, they have a monarchy and a prime minister. The both of them work together to make the country work. And in Mexico, we have a president and senators and deputies that help the president. In here, our president listens more to what the people think. And in there, the queen only thinking herself. So I obviously prefer the democratic government because I prefer president than a queen. For me, the monarchy is old-fashioned. We are in 21st century. We have to modernize the type of government, and I think that with a democratic government, we have more opportunities to be listened. And I love that I can choose who is going to be in charge of my country, so I prefer 1000 times a democratic country. For me, this trip was one of the best trips ever because I met a lot of new people, I made new friends, I learned new things, I improved my English, and I get a little more mature. And now I know that I can be a little independent for my parents. I love this trip so much because now I have a lot of memories with the people that I love. It was my first time in Europe, and truly I can say that I enjoy a lot this trip. I have a lot of fun. Thanks to my parents, now I know that I can be a mature girl, that I can be a little independent from them, and that I can take my own decisions. I have a lot of fun, and I wish I can go back to those days. The only thing that I can say, it was the best trip, and thank you.